Prabhu is putting it on. I also wanted to spend a couple of minutes remembering the fact that, does this sound good? Is it clear? Okay. Remembering the fact that today we celebrate Srila Haridas Thakur disappearance. We don't celebrate Haridas Thakur appearance also because it's not really clear when he was born. It's not clear 100%. But the disappearance was very famous. Haridas Thakur was the Acharya of the holy name. So it also fits very much our topic today because we'll meditate about our relation with the holy name. So Haridas Thakur, how many of you are familiar already with Haridas Thakur? Almost everybody. For some of you, it's new completely. Okay, Haridas Thakur is famous for many things. One thing is that he is considered to be an incarnation of Lord Brahma. See, when Krishna appears, his devotees also appear, they take different roles. So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears, who's Krishna himself, different devotees also appear with him. And Lord Brahma took a very humble position because in Krishna Lila, he became a bit of a victim of his own pride, a little bit. I mean, it's natural. He's the creator of the universe, so he could not immediately recognize Krishna. So he stole the calves and the cow boys. So in this time, he came in a humble position, a position that socially was not too recognized. He appeared in a Muslim family. And although he was born in an Islamic family, he took up the chanting of the holy name of Krishna, became a Vaishnava. And to the point of being considered the topmost Brahmana, although he was not born in a Brahmana family. The topmost Brahmana because he was the most advanced. And there are many stories. There's many detailed descriptions of his glories. How once, for instance, an envious local an envious local political leader tried to discredit him, sending him a prostitute to seduce him. But then Haridas Thakur wasn't disturbed at all, and it actually made that prostitute into a devotee. She became also a renunciant. She shaved up. And she also became a famous devotee. So there are many stories like that. But again, today we celebrate a particular episode is when he left this world. At the time he was in Puri, Jagannath Puri. How many of you have been there? Okay. Here's the picture. So what happened is that he was chanting many rounds a day, like 192 rounds a day. Some of you chant, thank you. Some of you chant 16 rounds every day. So he was chanting like 12 times that. Imagine chanting your 16 rounds 12 times. So every day. So, but then when he became very old, he became, obviously it was a little harder to chant. He would chant all day and all night. So Lord Chaitanya told him, well, now you're old, you can reduce your chanting. But Srila Haridas Thakur said, no, I had to continue my vow. So one day, Haridas Thakur, near the Puri beach, asked a special blessing to Lord Chaitanya. He said, please, I don't want to see your disappearance, your departure from this world. I don't want to be there when you somehow leave this world. You wind up these leelas. So please let me leave the body before you. And so, in a very special moment full of emotion, he left the body like we see in the picture, right in front of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was holding him up, looking at the lotus face of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya, this is the old kirtan around, you can see. It was a very intense moment. You can read this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is all description, the dialogue, and so on. And Lord Chaitanya personally danced with the body of Haridas Thakur in pure ecstasy, with all the devotees around. You can see the Puri temple in the background. This is Swargadwar, the beach. So they had a very, very big kirtan, and then Lord Chaitanya personally bathed the body of Haridas Thakur with the ocean water, and he got all the other devotees to participate. It was like the Abhishek. And then Lord Chaitanya personally put Haridas Thakur in Samadhi. If we could switch off that light just on top of the screen. Yeah, thank you. And if you go to Puri, you can still find a place where there is the Samadhi of Haridas Thakur. Now there is the old mat. You can see the Samadhi, you can see the mat. Just in front there is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, also temple, and so on and so forth. ISKCON temple just in front of that, in Puri. And so he was the Acharya of the Holy Name, and we seek his blessings to improve our chanting. This is a little murti. Some devotees keep murtis of Haridas Thakur for their bhajan. Okay, so given this introduction, we shift to the main topic of today. Prabhuji, who is manning the booth? Okay, can you shift to the other one? Okay. Okay, the fonts changed. I hope not too much, because it was originally in my computer. Okay, this is the theme of tonight, taking a look at our sadhana. There are two concepts very important, sadhya and sadhana. Sadhya in Sanskrit means the goal, the stage of perfection. It is the same as saying prayojan. Some of you are familiar. Prayojan, the goal or the need. So sadhya means what's the goal that we are trying to achieve. And sadhana means the means to achieve the goal. The path, the method. So sadhya, sadhana, and the person who practices that method is called sadhaka. Okay. So, what do we mean by sadhana? Sadhana bhakti. I did this exercise several times, and different devotees give different definitions. Would you like also to try some definitions? If some friend would ask you, I hear sadhana, sadhana bhakti, what exactly you mean by sadhana bhakti? What is this sadhana bhakti? How would you define? Practicing devotional service. Okay? Yes, nothing wrong with that. Thank you. Anything else? With the goal of achieving Krishna prema. Mm-hmm. Huh? So you're defining sadhana in general, any effort to achieve something. Yeah. Actually, Mataji was the closest to the scriptural definition. We'll take a look. This is from the Nectar of Devotion. And again, sorry that fonts moved around, but just imagine a perfect layout. So Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 2, the first stages of devotion. Practice means employing our senses in some particular type of work. Therefore, devotional service in practice, sadhana bhakti, means utilizing our different sensory organs in service to Krishna. This practice is not for developing something artificial. Devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the natural instinct of every living entity. And the explanation continues, when we wish to develop our innate capacity for devotional service, there are certain processes which, by our accepting and executing them, will cause that dormant capacity to be invoked. Such practice is called sadhana bhakti. Now, Nectar of Devotion, Srila Prabhupada's book, is based on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami. So let's take a look at that verse. I read it because the fonts, this machine doesn't have those fonts. Kriti sadhya bhavit sadhya bhavasa sadhana vida nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam ridi sadhyata. Oops. When transcendental devotional service by which love for Krishna is attained is executed by the senses, it is called sadhana bhakti, or the regulative discharge of devotional service. Such devotion eternally exists within the heart of every living entity. The awakening of this eternal devotion is the potentiality of devotional service in practice. And let's take another, this even goes outside the page. Let's take another translation, this time by Banu Maharaj, a little more technical. Now, sadhana bhakti will be defined. Action of the senses which produces the stage of bhava is called sadhana bhakti. This attained state of bhava bhakti, sadhyata, is an eternal sthai bhava which is not created but simply manifests within the soul by the spiritual energy of the Lord. In short, sadhana bhakti is the practice to develop bhava and prema. There are three stages: sadhana, bhava, and prema. Prema means full manifestation of pure love. Very intense emotions, natural, spontaneous. Bhava is the preliminary stage. It is given like if Krishna prema is like the sun risen in the sky, fully visible. Bhava is in the morning when the disk of the sun is not yet visible, but you can have the light. So the preliminary stage of prema is called bhava, and the sadhana is the path to develop that bhava. And I wanted to stress this because sometimes as practitioners, aspiring prema bhaktas, we may forget that we are doing this sadhana to develop these feelings. We may just do it as a chore, okay, 16 rounds, okay, this, okay, that. But actually the goal is to really reawaken that feelings. And of course, doesn't mean to become sentimental. There is difference. Sentimentality is on the mental platform. Emotionality, material emotionality, that's mundane. But the soul is full of natural feelings for Krishna. But now they are covered. So, okay, I'll skip this because it's a little technical, okay? But I want to show another verse. This verse is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Lord Chaitanya speaks this verse personally. He says, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kavunoy Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Koroye Udoy. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love naturally awakens. So this is a very important concept, that this love is not something imported. The love is inside, but now it's like frozen or covered. But it's eternally there, because that's what we are. We are lovers of God. But we are covered by so many other things. It's like a gem when it's covered by mud, or gold when it's still inside the rock. It doesn't shine. So our natural feelings for Krishna don't shine. But Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte. By sadhana bhakti, Shravanadi means Shravana, hearing, Adi means etc. By doing the hearing, the chanting, the serving, the worshipping, and so on, Shuddha Chitte, our psychic body becomes purified, becomes cleansed. And then, Kore Udoy. Udoy means rises. Like the sun in the morning. The sun is already there. But in the morning, the conditions are there for the sun to rise. So this Krishna Prema, very warm, very sweet, very soft, is already inside. But through sadhana, we need to purify the subtle body so that comes out. Okay? So this was the introduction. And now we'll focus on three aspects. Or if we don't have time, maybe only on two. Let's see. First, analyzing one personal relation with japa. How many of you chant japa regularly? Okay, some of you maybe new or your guests here. How many of you are here for the first time? First time, first day. Oh, okay. You're most welcome. Today it's a bit technical. It's more suitable for those who already practice. But I hope you find something useful. I hope it won't be too boring for you. Okay. So our relation with the books, the sacred books, Shastra, the scriptures, the reading, the study, and then deity worship, the worshipping of the deities in the temple or at home. Okay, now let's start with 2-3 different quotes from Srila Prabhupada. Those who come for first time, Srila Prabhupada is the founder Acharya. We have here in the Archamurti, sitting on the Vyasasana. founder Acharya, founder spiritual master of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON. So when we talk, we generally refer to his speeches or his written words because they're very authoritative. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada wrote, of all the regulative principles, the spiritual master's order to chant at least 16 rounds is most essential. So how many of you are initiated here? Initiated devotees? Okay. About half. So those who take initiation in ISKCON take a vow to chant 16 rounds, 16 mala, which comes to 1,728 mantras. Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when you chant 1,728, you chanted your 16 rounds. Now, this may sound a bit daunting, but one can start with one round, one mala, no problem. And as the taste increases, then one can increase also the rounds. But for one who is initiated and have taken different vows, this is the most important to chant. Because that's, see, the holy name is the process for this age. So if one wants to become God conscious, that's the holy name of God is the most accessible form. Because you can chant anywhere. You're in the car, you're at home, anytime, morning, evening, like that. So this is a letter to a disciple. Srila Prabhupada said, chanting japa should be done early in the morning with full concentration, preferably during the Brahma Muhurta time. Now, again, it can be done anytime, but in the morning has got more power. Why? Because not the holy name has more power, but our mind is more receptive. Brahma Muhurta, you're all familiar? The time before the sunrise. So that's why it's called Brahma Muhurta, the spiritual time. And just like they say, what's the most important meal of the day? Breakfast. Because you get nourished and then all day you run around. If you run around empty, then you eat at night, that doesn't make much sense. So breakfast is the most important. So also for spiritual activities, ideally, preferably, it's better to do it in the morning. If you don't have time, you do it later, no problem. But it has more effect because that purification, that making the mind peaceful, clean, clear, that will carry through the day if you do it in the morning. This is a letter, as a conversation with the GBC. The GBC means the members of the Governing Body Commission. In ISKCON, we don't have just one guru on top of everybody else. We have a group of leaders. It's called Governing Body Commission, in short, GBC. So Srila Prabhupada was talking with them. They supervise everything. So he's saying the first management is that each and every member in the temple is chanting 16 rounds regularly and following the regulations. That is our spiritual strength that must be executed. So he was instructing his leaders that this was one of the most important things for them to see. Are the devotees chanting? How are they chanting? And so on. This movement is all about chanting. That's why it's called Hare Krishna movement, because we chant Hare Krishna. Okay, so what is Prana Krishna, Prabhu? Oh, you have the papers. Okay, so we'll distribute the papers. I prepare some forms for you. And, yeah. Can give some to the ladies too. You also have some pens. Prana Krishna Prabhu prepared these forms for you, and he prepared some pens. If you have your pen, you can use your pen. We had some pens, right? Where are them? Acha. Okay. So I hope the form is quite self-explanatory. Can I have one? The form. As you can see, it's a self-reflection. List the three reasons why the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is important for you as a person, as a devotee. Then rate your japa practice. You can rate whatever you want. And then explain your rating. Say you gave 9, or you gave 2, or you gave 6. You explain why you gave that number. Then explain the challenges, what you could do to overcome them, or any other comment or reflection. And so we'll take 6-7 minutes to go through this. Is the exercise clear? Now, you can be very honest and straightforward, because I will not ask you to reveal what you wrote, okay? So this is your own reflection, your own analysis. Everybody got the form? Everybody got the pen? Okay. If we do have a little music in background, soft music for 5 minutes. see that some of you are already gone to the second page. Nothing wrong with that, but we'll discuss. We'll discuss that later. I see some of you are still on the first page. How many of you need more time to finish the first page? First page. Okay, so almost everybody. You can continue, but most everybody has finished the first page. Okay. This is an urgent work. Is the sound of Hare Krishna. So let's move to the second aspect. The second aspect is our relation, our practice of reading the scriptures. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Srila Prabhupada did many efforts, as you know, to prepare these books. He would get up sometime 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And while everybody was sleeping, he would translate this book and comment on them. And these books are all Krishna Katha, either because they are spoken by Krishna, like the Bhagavad Gita, or because they speak about Krishna, like the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada said different things. This is a lecture given in Australia, Melbourne. Again, this is for the leaders, but we can take the example. GBC member means they will see that in every temple these books are very thoroughly being read and discussed and understood and applied in practical life. So here Srila Prabhupada in Mumbai, Juhu, reading his own book. This is another example, a letter to a GBC. So another letter to a leader. Just to show how strongly stress this. So Srila Prabhupada said, your first job should be to make sure that every one of the devotees in your zone of management is reading regularly our literatures and discussing the subject matter seriously from different angles of seeing. What good are many, many devotees if none of them are knowledgeable? Now, what does it mean being knowledgeable? Knowledgeable is not just a question of academic scholarship. That we are not necessarily interested. We are not trying to show off that, oh, we are great Shastris, we are great Panditji. That's not the goal, obviously. But knowledgeable means that you know about Krishna, and though you can remember Krishna, and you can see Krishna in this world and in your relationships. Otherwise, if we don't hear about Krishna, it's very easy to forget about Krishna or not to see the world through the eyes of knowledge. So one who can see the world and everything in it with the eyes of knowledge is called Shastra Chakshus. In other words, his eyes are purified. He sees through the lenses of a Shastra. And therefore he sees something that is invisible for others. Like when the materialistic people make cry, somebody is dead. But for a person in knowledge, he knows the soul is not dead. The soul is alive. He was alive in this body, and now he left this body, he will be alive somewhere else. May still cry because of separation, but is not crying because somebody died in the sense that is not existing anymore. So if we have knowledge, if we are absorbed in the scriptures, then we can see things in a special way. That's why Srila Prabhupada stressed so much about reading and studying. Now, reading means This is just an English definition. Looking at something written and grasping what it says, just like you're doing now. You're reading these words, you understand what it says. Studying means applying one's mind purposefully to the acquisition of knowledge, understanding, or memorization of a subject. So reading generally is more light and studying is more deep. Like when you read newspaper or when you prepare for an exam. Definitely the intensity is different. For the exam is something that you want to remember, you want to somehow to really imbibe deeply. You read newspaper, just information. Nobody is going to test you on that. So, another quote. If you want to stay in Krishna consciousness, you will have to develop firm faith in Guru and Shastra. Therefore, you must study my books very scrutinizingly. Follow the four regulative principles very strictly and chant 16 rounds daily, avoiding the 10 offenses. Don't take this movement as something cheap. Now, last quote is a letter to a disciple. You must all study very scrutinizingly all of the books. So when the need arises, you can repeat in your own words their purport. When the need arises means when you need to explain it to others, when others ask questions, or when the need arises to remember. Okay. Any questions on this topic? Okay, it's quite clear, no? So we can move to the second page. Of course, some of you are already there, but so we'll move to the second page and we'll fill up the second page. If you can put a little music. And of course, reading also means when you listen to tapes, no? Reading of the books and things, the same. Please raise your hand if you need more time. How many of you need more time? Okay, so most of you have finished. Okay. Okay, so now we will not do the third part. The third part is about your relation with deity worship. But you can keep the form. You can do it at home. It's a form of reflection. And again, deity worship may be the formal deity worship at home, in the temple, or maybe if you're not initiated at home, and so on. So according to your experience of deity worship. Now, next part of this workshop is you find someone in this room also who did the exercise, and share about what you wrote. You don't have to share exactly what you wrote. No, you share only as much as you like. For instance, you don't have to say your ratings so if you're not comfortable sharing something, you don't have to share. You don't have to show, this is what I wrote. But you can sit together and just wait a minute to start. You can sit together and feel free to sit comfortably in some chair or bench. You find, just a second, I'm still explaining. You find someone you feel comfortable with, look around, and then you sit together and share something you learned from this exercise. If you learn anything, if it was useful for you, and maybe you can share what would you like to do to improve, or like that. Spend 5-10 minutes together. Is that exercise clear? Okay, so feel free to move, because the person you may want to share may not be the next to you. So you choose your partner for this exercise and share on both. On the relation with the holy name first, you speak, the other person speaks. And then your relation with the sacred books of knowledge, you speak and the other person speaks. So we'll have pairs, 2 people, couples, dyads. Well, if you really don't find a pair, then you can be 3, but I leave it up to you. But at least a pair. Who doesn't have a pair? Raise your hand. Okay, so new people. Acha. Best if you can sit in front of each other instead of staying on the side. This helps. Okay. So, who needs more time? Raise your hand if you need more time to process this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we'll give another couple of minutes, huh? And then we'll wind up. So in half a minute we'll close. Half a minute. If you had to complete, now you got 30 seconds. So now we can spend a few minutes, if you like, that you can share something you learned about yourself, about your practice by doing this exercise. Something you like to share with the whole room. Obviously not something confidential that the other person told you, but something that you learned about yourself, about your practice, through doing this exercise. So we have this mic. Maybe you can run around with the mic. Run around means you see when somebody wants to speak, you give it, okay? You have to look who wants to share something, who wants to start. Would you like to say something? Okay. Okay, who likes to go first?
Hare Krishna. I always have this challenge of, while chanting, how to get concentration on the holy name. And Prabhuji just shared, and with your permission, Prabhu, I would like to share that there are a couple of ways how you can be more concentrating on the holy name. One of them would be chant loudly at that particular moment when you get distracted and you understand you are getting distracted, start chanting loudly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are so many other ways, but yeah, definitely this is one thing which I would like to take ahead. Thank you. In the Brahma Muhurta, yeah, especially in the Brahma Muhurta.
It helps that when the
Yeah, because in Brahma Muhurta, it's a general tendency to go sleep. Mm-hmm. And I think that particular moment when you understand you are going sleepy, start chant loudly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. This workshop helped me in the majority to contemplate on my deficiencies I had in chanting and reading Srila Prabhupada's books. And also it helped me to meditate on what I should do to help me improve on that. So I really don't think about that usually when I'm doing my sadhana, but this workshop actually with this question helped me to actually remember all the things I needed to improve on. So thank you, Prabhuji.
So you found it useful?
Yeah, very.
I'm glad. See, I chose this format because sometimes I'm sure many of you heard many lectures about the importance of chanting, or the importance of reading, or the importance of practicing sadhana in general, or the importance of being concentrated. We all heard many times. I mean, at the same time, when we take stock of our situation, sometimes it's effective because it's not just somebody sitting on a Vyasa-san telling, it's more like taking a look. And that was the spirit of this exercise, taking a look. And each of us can put any rating. If you're happy with your practice, you can put 10, 9, 10. Maybe 10 people don't feel to put, but if you put less, you can take a look also. Why is less? It's up to us. Thank you. Who's next? Yes, 1, 2.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This reading aspect, I couldn't read every day. So what I'm doing on a mass and the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I'm reading all the 5 to 10 pages at a stretch. So is that okay, or is that gives the same progress and compared to the regular reading small things?
See, point is this. Each of us has a different life, a different lifestyle, also different taste. Some people are more into reading books. Some people are more into maybe listening tapes, listening recordings.
Yeah.
Like our friend was saying how he listened to the Bhagavad Gita in the car. Now he's listening to the 7th chapter, Saurabh. And so depending on your lifestyle, like Prabhu was telling me, he spends 2 hours going to work, 2 hours coming back. So he has 4 hours on trains. So I don't know how we didn't talk how he spends the time, but maybe, that's not too bad. No, you can pick up a book. Some other people don't have that time of travel. So each one has got their own situation, and we cannot impose something that everybody should do. We are talking more the principle. So, as we said, we read the books not just for scholarship. It's not for scholarship, but it's to remember Krishna. Remember the instructions. See through that vision. Be in touch with eternity. Because life is full of fluctuations. Sometimes things go good, sometimes things go bad, sometimes we are successful at our job, sometimes we are less successful, sometimes the family things go smooth, sometimes there are problems. This is the material energy is very unstable. I mean, there's always change, and our mind has to kind of adapt, and therefore there is sukha dukkha. But when we are absorbed in something beyond duality, beyond sukha dukkha, then our mind can also be fixed. So it's good to have a daily experience. But you, in your situation, you can see what you can do. And if it's easier for you to read more in the weekend, and if that's what you can do, that's what you can do. But I don't know all of you, but generally we always spend some time with the news, some time with Facebook, some time with this, some time with that. So it's just a question of sometimes shifting at least part of that attention. Some people take a vow, like we have a number of rounds. Some people do a number of pages every day, or a number of minutes. So it's good to be daily, but it's up to you how you can actually arrange.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. One more question, Prabhu, with your permission. Chanting, some days what we need
Can
to
you
do.
speak in the mic?
Yeah, some days what happening is in our work, we need to stay late night, so we are not able to wake up in the early morning. So in that time, we may not, I'm not able to complete 16 rounds. So is that mechanically we need to complete anyhow 16 rounds, or missing one day, is that okay? In exceptional cases?
There are two stages of chanting. One is chanting with a vrata, and then if we chant with the vrata, then you have to complete your vrata, whatever it is. So if you take initiation, and in ISKCON we take initiation in a very solemn way. There are many groups, but for some initiation is something quite casual, okay? In ISKCON we take initiation very seriously. That's why Srila Prabhupada, although he wanted everybody to chant, he never put the standards down. He knew, sometime, I was just reading today one letter, he was saying how sometime his disciples couldn't finish his rounds. But he never decreased. He didn't say, well, 16 is too much, make 10, make 5. No. So if you chant after making a vrata, that you set in front of the Guru, you set in front of the Vaishnava, in front of the fire, who represents Vishnu, and you make a vow that every day I chant 16 rounds, then we had to complete. If we don't complete in one day, because sometimes it happens, then we need to complete next day.
Wow, yeah.
So in other words, okay, today I couldn't chant 16 rounds, I chant 8. Tomorrow I chant 8 plus 16.
Oh, okay.
I have a personal experience. Once I was in India and I had malaria, and I just did not have the strength to chant. I tried.
Yeah.
I remember I was sitting on a chair with a japa and didn't have the strength to chant.
Yeah.
So
It
10
happens,
days I didn't chant. And then I had under 60 rounds. And I recuperated. I chanted every day 16 plus some, 16 plus some, 16 plus, and I recuperated. So if you chant with vrata, you make the vrata, you got to finish. If you're still practicing, of course, it's not so serious. In other words, you're trying. What's your standard? And again, we don't have to start with 16. We can start with 1, continue to 2, 4, 8. But it's good to chant every day.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Okay, so last comment or question from Prabhu. He raised his hand. Well, when you're practicing, you're still kind of moving up. You're getting accustomed, acclimatized to the chanting.
Thank you very much, Kaunteya Prabhu. It's a very nice program. Really, I enjoyed. It's reminding us if there are any gaps, like whoever is not able to focus and whoever is not so regular about book reading. It's a friendly reminder to everybody, and it's so wonderful. You handled very nicely.
I didn't do much, as you can see. I just handed out forms.
Yeah, this form is really a self-assessment. We can know ourselves what I am and where I am, where I can more perfect, where can I correct myself. So it's really so wonderful.
So you found it useful?
Very useful.
I'm glad.
Thank you very much.
So please keep this form. You can refer to it, maybe read, sleep on it. I mean, not on the form. I mean, sleep on it in the sense, let it churn, and then tomorrow you take a look, or this weekend take a look. So I want to finish on time, and it's almost 9 o'clock. I don't want to take more of your time. Just wanted to remind our ISKCON Congregational Development Ministry. If you want to visit, iskoncongregation.com. Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Jai Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra ki, Jai. And if you want to write for anything, I also have a couple of books, because this is my last days of this tour. I have very few copies left. Sorry for that. Can you help me? I have a couple of books from the ministry. One is called The Book of Icebreakers. For those who do Bhakti Viksha, another group, there are more than 300 ideas how to do icebreakers, creative introductions, and so on. One, it's a book by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Yesterday we celebrated his appearance. It's called Gudruma Kalpatavi. It's been translated by Jayapataka Maharaj. He gave also purports. His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj gave a foreword. And this is basically the whole idea of Namahatta, the marketing of the holy name. So this is a book by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explaining that. And the last book I have, if anybody's interested, this is about the role, what Srila Prabhupada said about the role of women in the movement, the spiritual leadership role for women is called, Did Srila Prabhupada Want Women Diksha Gurus? Question mark. So I have a few copies. If anybody is interested in these books, here they are. So tomorrow we have another. We have both morning and evening, right? You want to announce?
Hare Krishna. First of all, thank you very much for coming for today's seminar. First of all, let's thank His Grace Kaunteya Prabhu, the loud Hari Bol 3 times. Please forgive me for not announcing, not giving introduction before starting the class. His Grace Kaunteya Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj and is a Congregation Development Director or Co-Ministry he sits in Mayapur mainly and travels and preaches. Is initiated in, I think, 81, if I'm not wrong. So his last 35 plus years of experience is bringing. So all over the world is preaching. He's from Italy. So you can give lectures from any topic. You can bring Bhagavad Gita, connect to Gaur Leela. So many other ways. So wonderful preacher. So we'll have class, Srimad Bhagavatam class tomorrow morning at...
Do you know the joke on the lecture on any topic? There were two devotees talking, and one says, you know, my temple president is such a scholar. You give him any topic, and he will speak 1 hour, okay? And then the other devotee was from another temple. He said, that's okay, but my temple president can speak 1 hour even without any topic.
Tomorrow morning, generally it's 6:30 to 7, but for others to come, I think we'll make it 7 to 7:45. So, Bhagavatam class. Huh? Huh? Yeah, it will be live. Hopefully, we'll have the audio-video controller. So, hopefully, our Prem Vikas Prabhu or Krishna Baldev Prabhu will manage. Then tomorrow evening and Saturday, tomorrow seminar continues. Timing is same, 7 to 9. And Saturday it's 4 to 8 p.m. Basically, 6 to 8 is the actual class. 4 to 6 is the Vyas Puja is all in the Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. So here at the temple. Okay.
We have to discuss it.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll have a different topic also. So